Hi there, you're watching ProPix Canada Media Limited. This week, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a judgment in which they are reviewing the settlement offer of $6 billion by Purdue Pharmaceuticals and the Sackler family. What's been happening over the last several years is that there have been loopholes that have been created within the Bankruptcy Act that allow corporations to avoid litigation and lawsuits and ultimately being held responsible for their actions and their products. Now, Purdue Pharmaceuticals, as everybody knows, is at the forefront of the opioid crisis around the world. The Sackler family actually made their riches from pushing Valium in the 1960s and forward. As they came out with much heavier opioids and created the opioid crisis, they have settled for $6 billion. That was all but done when the Supreme Court has stepped in to say no. It's not going to happen without a review. The Supreme Court has put the brakes on this $6 billion settlement. Now, it's going to impact communities around North America and worldwide in the fact that they're not going to have access to that money right away in order to help with the opioid crisis and the addiction issues in communities. However, it also opens the door for future litigation should the Supreme Court justices make that choice. That means that the $6 billion that the Sackler family and Purdue Pharma was going to put forward and avoid all future litigation is now potentially off the table. This means that they will be potentially held accountable for the hundreds of thousands of lives that they have taken, the deceptive and criminal marketing of products to society through the healthcare system, doctors who push these products, breaching the ultimate trust between patient and doctor. So it will be interesting to watch how this continues and what the Supreme Court decides ultimately. We saw another example of this with Johnson & Johnson's when they spun off the company for the baby powder scandal. That became Johnson's, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson's. When that company went bankrupt, they were able to avoid all future litigation on the issues around the baby powder that was causing health issues. So it's good to see the U.S. Supreme Court stepping in, putting the brakes on this, and saying, hold on. They should not be experiencing a blanket coverage from future litigation. They created a mess around the world with the opioid crisis, and they need to be held responsible. They shouldn't get a get-out-of-jail-free card when it comes to civil litigation. So this is a huge announcement by the U.S. Supreme Court. It's a huge decision in U.S. law, and it will be very interesting to watch how this plays out. And hopefully the Sackler family will be held further accountable for their deplorable actions against society, against the customers who trusted them, who relied on them for pain management when they're at their weakest, when they need help. Purdue reached out and helped them all right. Helped them right into an early grave or to addiction, destroying families, destroying communities, just destroying lives. So I say, good on you, Supreme Court. I hope you make changes that are going to hold corporations accountable, especially when it comes to the Sackler family. Once again, you're watching ProPix Canada Media. I'm James Cousineau. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow to continue on with this story and other breaking news from around the world.